Hey, welcome to another brand edition of the Lyle Style Show. Hey, I'm here with my special guest, Nick Messersmith. I hope I pronounced the last name right. Man, I mean, I've been knowing Nick for a while. We go back to 2000 and, because you said 2000 and
probably 8 or 9.
8 or 9, yeah. And so I'm here with Nick. Whatever we gonna talk to him about his new flick that he's directing. But before we start off, we got a blast from the past, and we're going to show you a little bit about one of your first movies that you directed and wrote. We have a clip for it. So, my producer, you run the clip. We'll check it out.
Good morning, everybody. It's 6:30 a.m. and I'm Ben Bauer for KLRX News Radio. Breaking news for you. Multi-millionaire and media tycoon Ethan McKenna has been said to have ties with the Irish Mafia. Some sources have said that his rank is as high as a boss or even an underboss. Also in related news, legendary mob boss Tony Ragazzi was found dead this morning at 3:30 a.m. Police have yet to release any details other than it looks like an inside job. We'll have more on this story as it develops. I'm Ben Bauer for KLRX News Radio, breaking news for you.
When you reach the border, you receive $500 million. It's as simple as that.
Sounds easy enough.
Okay, well, I guess we saw a little bit of it, so that was different. So you saw a little bit of your movie.
Yeah, sure.
That's the pre-case. That's your first one you did.
Yeah, that's the first one I ever directed. I wrote and directed that one. So
oh, really?
It was a few years after film school, and I figured when I gotten out of film school, I had acted and did some fight choreography and some stunts and stunt work. And then I said, you know what, I wanna, write something and do something of my own. So then I did it. I did it with no money at all, no budget at all.
Wow, really?
Using as many people as I could to help out and everything. And then after that film, after it played and everything, I wouldn't say I took a break, but I kind of focused on teaching. Okay. I started teaching martial arts and everything, and kind of I would work on projects here and there, but never too much. And then it wasn't until about 2015 when I started getting back into it again. So.
Oh, really? Yeah, because I did some research about you, and I seen another movie. I think you made a role back in the day called Badge of.
Oh yeah, Above the Badge.
Above the Badge.
Yes.
Now, did you write that?
No, I did not write that. Somebody else wrote that. I was just in it. I played like a mob boss kind of that and stuff, and it was kind of like this. It was kind of an action comedy type of thing. It had some good fight scenes and different things, but it's kind of a different role for me.
So. Right, definitely, because you definitely did a lot of fight scenes in that movie. I was looking at it, and it was shot here.
Yes. Yes, that was the student film. I think that was when I was still in college. I believe. So it was.
Was that before you did the briefcase?
Yeah, that was like before that. That was probably, I think that film, Above the Badge, released in like 2010, somewhere around in there.
Right.
My film released in 2011, 2012.
Oh, okay, wow. Both of them were good movies. I mean, you did a lot of action. I mean, you're an action person, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't wait to see you in the full screen right now in the movie theaters. That's gonna be your next role right there. But the briefcase, because you had one of my good friends that you know, Josh was in it.
Yep.
Here back in the day when he was over PATV, and he played Irish mob boss. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I mean I like the movie, man. I like the. What does it take you to actually do a screenplay, man? What was you going through the process of doing that?
Well, Actually, for the briefcase, I came up with the idea in my sleep. I actually dreamt part of the story in my sleep, and so I woke up and I wrote it down, kind of just the idea, and I just put it away. I didn't really think about it. And then while I was in college, I just kind of started writing little bits at a time. I would, I'd be in the shower and then all of a sudden say, oh, that's a good idea. Write that down or write something, and then eventually it just kind of over the course of 2 to maybe 3 years, I've completed a script, and I went through a few changes, and then I casted it. And at that point, I didn't really know a lot of people in the film industry. I only really knew people local. So I then asked a lot of local people to come in and help, and I didn't know, directors of photography, and I didn't know, all these different things. So I did pretty much everything on my own.
Wow, that's remarkable.
And I learned a lot from that. And I said, if I ever did it again, I'll never do that. I'll never film it that way again. I'll never do everything. I'll go out and get people. So when I decided to do this next one, I was contacted by somebody that had a script, and they said, read it. And so I read it, and then we decided to do this one. And so I was like, I'm going to go out and get a crew.
Get the whole 9 yards. But for what you had to work with back in the early 2000s, you did a really good job.
Oh, thank you.
The short movie turned out real well. The acting was, it was crazy, over the top. Some parts over the top, but not the character. The lead character was he in the martial arts, or did he?
He was. Nico was into it, and he was a good friend of mine. He was not an actor at all.
Yeah. Okay.
And when you watch it, you can tell, there's some moments he does really good, and there's other times when we're rushed and everything. But. And if I could do it again, I always said if I could do that film again, that would be one thing I would do. I'd go out and get actors to do it. Instead of people I know, I would get actors.
And would you expand the plot to it?
Yes, I had originally written 2 stories. I had written a sequel to it. Oh, wow. And when I did the first one, I had to change a lot, because there'd be times when I'd show up and actors wouldn't show up. So then I'd be on set and I'd be rewriting like that day. I'd be sitting there with the computer typing new scenes. Or, a lot of it with Ben Fleming, who plays Johnny Ragazzi, one of the Italian mob boss's son. He did, and most of all his stuff was improvised. Really? A lot of his stuff was not even written, because he only had a few lines in the film.
He did pretty good. Yeah.
And he's an actually really good actor. He's a professional actor. We went to high school together, and then he went off to Santa Barbara acting school.
Oh, California.
And I'm California, and then he came back, and it was kind of weird. I never thought I'd see him again, and he was in town visiting his mom, and I just had called him up one day and said, hey, and I knew he'd done a lot of acting and stuff, and I said, hey, I'm doing a movie, and he said, well, I'm in town, and I said, well, come stop by, be in a few scenes, and he did. So luckily we were able to get him, but and then everything else just kind of fell into line after. Right.
Definitely. I mean, he did a pretty good job on that. I mean, I would never thought that he's just at the time, but. Improvising. Improvising was like...
A lot of that was, I kind of just said, go do it, because I didn't have lines written or I couldn't do it. And he was staying with me, so he was always on set. Okay. So I knew he would be there. Right. So when we get there in the morning, I said, I don't have anyone here. I said, hey, you're going to be in this scene. We're going to put this guy in there. And so he would just go up and he goes, well, what do you want me to do? And I'm like, well, here's what's going on. Right. Just make up something. And he would just go on these tangents. And I have still at home, I think I still have 3 hours of just him on film, just saying the most random things. Oh my goodness, funny stuff like that. So.
See, that would be a good blooper reel.
Yes.
A good blooper reel that you could have down the line, man. So you've been in other movies now. I did a background. Now you were telling me you was in something with Netflix.
Yeah, so I did. Right now it's not on Netflix, right? I think the plan is they're going to be putting it on there. Okay. But I did a thing with director Gary Davis in Florida, and it had, if you've ever seen the movie Kung Fu Hustle. Yes. It had the master in there, Chu Chiling. He's the old guy with the rings on his arms. Right. Yeah. He was in the movie. Wow. And so I went down and did some fight stuff with him, and was in a few scenes and stuff with him. and did that with them. And so that's actually right now currently playing. It played in Baltimore a few weeks ago, and they're going to play it, I think, in a few more places. And then after that, I think he's going to go for distribution
to Netflix
or somewhere,
right,
some
Netflix,
kind of
Redbox,
online, Amazon, something. He's going to probably try to do some kind of,
What's the name of the film?
It's called 2054.
2054.
A soldier, a princess, and a tailor. So,
a soldier, a princess, and a tailor.
Yes, it's a great story. It takes place in the year 2054.
Okay.
The basic plot was, and he's made 9 of them. He started in 2045, and he's worked his way up.
Wow.
And 1945, as people know, Japan dropped the bombs on Pearl Harbor. So in 2045, we dropped the bombs on Japan.
Oh.
And so it causes World War III.
Right, okay.
And the world blows each other up kind of with nuclear weapons. So everyone resorts to living back in the ancient time. So there's no guns again. So it's kind of like an ancient kung fu movie set in the future. There's no guns, but there's modern technology and stuff. But kung fu,
I mean,
everything like that.
And now it takes me back to the old kung fu movies.
Yes,
back when I was watching in the kung fu theater, watching they're talking and they talk. I'm going to kill you.
Yes. Yes.
It ain't like that where you.
No, not this one.
Where you hear the voice and then then sometimes they didn't do it didn't come out right with their movement and whatnot. But I mean that started the whole martial arts craze right there.
Oh yeah.
Started the whole martial arts back in the. You talking back in the 70s when the kung fu theater and all these different kung fu movies came out. So many of them. That was with Bruce Lee. This is before Bruce Lee started. The Game of Death, somebody else with Bruce Lee, and different ones that really, Charlene Temple or that type of thing. I mean, my goodness, that started to crave until what it is now, man. It's a moneymaker. Really.
Oh yeah.
A moneymaker. Action. Now they got everybody from just people in the martial arts to actors that get into doing action movies. Now this takes me back to I've heard a little bit something about you that you used to be, or are you still a stuntman? You did stunt.
Yeah. Currently, still do stunts and doing a lot of stunt coordinating. I have my own stunt team now.
Oh, you do?
So those guys, I kind of put those guys in to do the stunts and kind of watch them, so I don't have to do it. But I still do some of the other stuff. I've jumped off a bridge before. Jumped onto cars.
Any movies that any movies?
No, that was a lot for college. Actually, I did a lot of the crazy stunts when I was in my 20s. When I was still young, man. I could jump off a bridge and land and be okay. Now I think if I did it, I might be a little sore for a few days.
You might hurt yourself a little bit.
But no, I mean we still do that. But a majority of the stunts we do, a lot of it is a lot of the fighting stunts, with the wires and different things.
So they do have wires.
Some. I mean, I can use them. You just have to get the equipment, and people have the equipment to use them. Put them in the harness. And
right.
But
you get hit and you fly into the wall.
But I've done a lot of stunts and everything, and do a lot of fight choreography. That's another thing I get called for a lot is fight choreography. So there's a lot of films that sometimes I'm not even on there. I just do the fight choreography for.
Any newer ones or older ones you talk about that you did a little?
There was a one I did. It's called Till Death. It's on my IMDb page, but it's I had nothing to do with it really. I just showed up and did fight choreography, helped them with working. It wasn't very big either. It was kind of in a car, and there was like kind of a scene where they hit each other in a car.
Oh, you showed that.
So just kind of worked with the actors on that a little bit, and that was about it. I've done that and stuff and. But a lot of films when I do fight choreography, usually I'm in it, somewhere, because they usually, if the fight's too complex or something for someone who's not a martial artist or someone who doesn't know how, it's just easier for me to go in there to be their opponent, to be the bad guy, to throw a punch or get beat up, because I know how to do the falls, but then also I already know what the fight is supposed to be because we choreograph it.
And you have to follow a certain way too, man, because I see these motion pictures out now. I mean, like with Jason Stamos. I mean, not Stamos, Stason. Yeah. The way he beat up these, kudos to the stunt people.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, y'all got to really, because you got to be real now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, have you done any choreography fight where you actually got hit?
Yeah, that does happen. I mean, generally, when you work with someone an actor that doesn't have training,
Right.
sometimes it happens. Generally, when you're working with someone who knows what they're doing, it doesn't happen.
Okay.
Because they're usually, we're trained well enough, we know where to stop, where to hit.
Mm-hmm.
When we do hit, if I do hit another stunt guy or another stunt guy hits me, it's because they messed up.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of just an unwritten code that stunt guys do. If you miss something, I'm gonna hit you and tag you, and it kind of just tells you I missed a movement or I missed something, so I need to make sure.
Yeah, if you're supposed to have blocked that, if it was there, you would have stopped or whatever.
Or if you're doing something and they don't throw a kick, so you just keep going with the hands, I'll punch him for real, just a little bit, and it just tells them I missed something.
Okay, wow.
And stunt guys do that a little bit too with each other. We kind of do that. Or if you make a mistake and you hit one of the stunt guys, you know that they're gonna hit you back the next time they fight you.
I don't want to hit.
They're gonna tag you.
Yeah.
It's just kind of an unwritten rule we have with each other. It's just kind of something we do. At least I do, and I know the guys I work with, a lot of us kind of do that. We respect each other well enough and everything. But it's tough. It's stunts. It's funny because the Academy Awards is all about drama and romance and acting and everything else. But the hardest part is a lot of action and stunts, and those are the ones that don't get recognized by a lot.
Right. And you know what? Matter of fact, I think I had seen an award show about recognizing stunt people in different. I think it was on MTV, something like that. Because that is the unsung hero.
Oh yeah.
That makes the movie good or bad. If y'all do it so real, and like people say, "Wow, did he do that?" I mean, he get knocked out. Look at whatever. Right. But you have to do the stunts right, so make it look so real to us audience, people that's watching. So if y'all don't do it right, then the movie doesn't do too well. But yeah.
And now with like all the superhero movies that are so popular, there's so many stunts in those. Anytime there's explosions, anything, which is why a lot of superheroes wear masks because those actors aren't gonna go and fall out and get exploded, so they just take a stunt guy, put a mask on him, and let him go out and do it.
I'm surprised that you gonna get caught for doing it, man.
I'd love to. I mean, it's been one of those things. It's really hard to do a lot of that stuff because a lot of those stunt coordinators or fight choreographers, a lot of times you work with the same crew. Okay. So, if you work with a lot of the same people in the same movies, it's hard to bring someone new in.
Right, because they know each other.
Yes, and they've worked with each other. So if I were to do it, it would be on like a new franchise or a new type of thing like that. So, but that's one thing I've always wanted to have a stunt team and doing it, and now that I have one and established one, we're able to do a lot more kind of fresh things and new things.
So what do you like doing? The stunt part or actually doing the acting?
I went to school. I went to film school, and I wanted to direct. That was the thing I wanted to do.
That's your passion.
Yeah, that was what I wanted to do. And then I ended up doing more acting than anything. I think you got to start somewhere. And so I started in front of the camera, and I didn't mind it. I was like, okay, but then I wanted to get away and get back into directing. And people just kept calling me like, I need fight choreography, I need stunts, I need this. And when you do that, you get in front of the camera. So I end up doing a lot more of that for fighting and the stunts and all that kind of stuff like that. So the acting for me, I think it's a challenge. It's something new. I like doing that. I mean, fight choreography is fun. I love doing it. I have a passion for it. I know what I'm doing. But teaching and martial arts is my life. It's what I do. It's all that stuff. So it's kind of not new for me. Acting is something kind of new that challenges me. It's something that I have to push myself to be good at.
Yeah, exactly.
So the fight choreography and stuff, that stuff comes natural.
Right. You're a whiz with that. But no, you got 10 minutes. Let's get down to basics. Let's get down to now this movie that you directed this movie now.
Yes.
This is your directing debut, I guess, or is it?
Yes, it would be. I did Briefcase a long time ago, and that was kind of an experiment just to see how I could do it, put it together. So I would probably say that this is my directing debut. I would say this is probably the first big project that I've actually I'm going to be working on. That I'll be directing, I should say, not working on, but directing.
And what's it called though?
It's called Flex.
Okay, so we might have a poster of the new one that you're going to be. Oh, now, who is this character right here?
Now that is Zelda Gay. She's a
Gay.
wonderful.
She sounds familiar.
Yeah, she's a wonderful, brilliant actress in New York.
She must be a martial artist. Though.
Yes, she is. She does karate. She's a 2nd-degree black belt.
Oh, I'm not going to bother her.
In karate, and when we were casting this, we put out a huge casting call. I think we probably had about 70, 80 people audition for it and send us the tapes and everything, and we kind of narrowed it down to 3, and she was in the top. And we
Who's
watched
the other 2?
The casting, I don't remember exactly. I had a lot of people helping me with that because I had a lot of them. There were a couple of other martial artists. Most of them were girls, women, stunt women, or martial artists, or actresses that knew martial arts, or some vice versa. So. Zelda is an actress who's really good at acting, but she also does martial arts and stunts and all this kind of stuff like that. So we chose to work with. So she's gonna play the main character named Flex in the film.
Okay.
And it's a little bit like Kill Bill. It's like a woman on revenge, a revenge story. So it's about her father dies, and then a week later she gets a letter from her father. And he explains to her kind of, if she's reading this, then he's dead, and then what he did, and the reason he was killed is because assassins killed him. He didn't die of natural causes. He explains what he does for work. She thinks he's this big, they call it the firm, and he's the CEO of it, but then she learns that the firm is actually a group of rich, wealthy businessmen that hire assassins to take people out so that they can gain power and money. And so part of the script is that they have him killed so that they can take over, someone else can take over. And so she finds it out, and she says, I'm going to get my revenge. And she'll kill those people that killed my father, but they send people after her. So they find out that yeah, they already know. They're trying to get rid of her and her father, kind of just so there's no kind of, open books or anything. But so they send some people after her, and she kind of plays with them a little. She kind of is too smart for it, so she understands. So she kind of sets them up and everything. But she has some good fights. There'll be some really good. There's supposed to be 6 assassins after her. Okay. So you'll get a set of twins. That come in, which is really good, amazing dialogue between them. Most of it. There's only about 4 or 5 actual locations. It mostly takes place in her house. Really? She has this lofted house. Okay. And most of it takes place there. They're hiding in her house, and she finds out different things. But and then of course the final showdown will be somewhere else. But
are you going to film it on locations? Other cities, or is it going to be in New York?
I think what we're doing, we're going to film it. I think most of it, all of it, in Des Moines. Okay. Des Moines. Yes, we were planning. I was planning on trying to shoot in other locations. Right. And even at one point, I had talked about I contemplated and thought about filming in the Philippines as well. Yeah. But we ended up deciding Des Moines just because. I'm getting a director of photography from Cedar Rapids, and we're using a lot of crew from Iowa. Instead of flying all of them out there, since the majority of them are here, we'll just fly in the main actress, and we'll fly in a few other actors and actresses. We'll fly in a few of them as opposed to flying everyone else to them. So
and a lot of these people that you get, your crew are minorities. Minority people.
Yes, so it's going to be the one thing I want to do is women and minorities. So if as much as I can, I'd like to do that, and that's a big thing in the last few years. I think in the film industry is there hasn't been a lot of representation for minorities, and we need more, either behind or on screen. So that's one thing I'd like to try to do. Of course, I have a few people I've always worked with, and they'll be on set, but most of it's going to be a majority of minority kind of crew and
women doing their thing.
And women, we have a women. Our director of photography is a woman. Wow. So there's not many of them at all in Hollywood.
I haven't heard too many.
Yes, there's only a handful. So there's one here in Cedar Rapids, and so we're going to use her. And she's also a martial artist, so she kind of understands angles for hits and everything like that. So that's kind of why I chose her. And she's passionate about it. and she liked the script.
I like the name Flex. I like the name. The name
Yes.
right there. When I saw the name, I saw the poster. I said, "Man, this is gonna be a good action movie right here."
Yeah,
and a woman too. She's gonna beat up some men. She probably likes that. So you talk to her, and she's in the film, like I said, Zelda. Any other people you could talk about that's in the movie? Right?
There are a few others. So we're gonna have a we do. I can't announce it yet because I don't think officially we can. But there is gonna be a really famous Hollywood actress. In the film. She's gonna make a cameo, kind of play it, and that'll help kind of hopefully boost it. But everyone will recognize her. Will know who she is. She's been in a lot of big movies.
You have to come back on the show when that can happen. When you come back on the show, and hey, when the show comes out and when it premieres in Des Moines, and you should have a red carpet thing. I want the Lyle Style show coming out here, man, and talk to y'all on the red carpet.
Definitely.
Y'all should have that, man.
We'll get the whole crew there. We'll have everyone come in. We'll have Zelda come in. We'll have everyone come in.
Okay, good. Because I want to come down to Des Moines. And, and take my show down there. And
the film, if it does well and if it looks good, we're going to play it in, I think the plan, the rough plan was to play it in about 25 cities here in the U.S. And then if it does well here, we'll play it overseas as well.
Overseas. And it definitely should go overseas, man. It definitely should go overseas.
They love, action.
Right.
And
now, and quickly now, you're from what? South Korea?
I was born there, but I was adopted, so I grew up here in my whole life, pretty much since I was like 11 months old.
Wow.
Came here.
Okay.
So I've lived here my whole life.
Yeah.
And then my parents wanted me to keep a part of my culture, so they signed me up for Taekwondo. And when I was 5 years old, and then I just it ended up being something I liked doing, and then that when I wanted to do it, I knew I wanted to do that for a job, but teaching, you don't make a lot of money at first, and you're really poor, and so you need to have a day job that you can do. And so when I was thinking about it, I said, well, I'm not really good at anything else other than that, so what can I do? And I was looking at things in college, and someone was like, oh, you should do film. I'd always watch, action films or kung fu films and say, oh, this fight scene could have been better, or this could have been better, or done better. And so everyone's like, oh, you should just go do it. So then I just went to film school and did it.
There you go. And the rest is history for you, Nick.
For sure.
I appreciate it, man. It's my first time seeing you because I followed you before, with Josh. And heard a lot about you and whatnot when you was doing the briefcase and everything. I wish I was in that, man. I'd be a good black mafia type person. No, you did a great job with that. And I just appreciate your work and what you're doing, man. I think you're going to do good. I think the movie Flex is going to do real well. The plot seems really good, and you got a whole female cast and minority. That's a great thing. I think that, because don't forget Lyle Style, because I definitely want to come out there. Red carpet thing, when y'all get it, when you premieres in Des Moines at one of the big theaters out there, which you will. Hey, y'all should do red carpet. I'm gonna come out there and interview and talk to you again. And then you can tell me how big you are, man.
We'll see. That's one of those things. Where I'm gonna be in the film. I'm gonna play an assassin. That's gonna have maybe the final fight will be between me and her. I debated on playing a character because I wanted to focus on directing and making it good. And when you direct and act, it kind of plays with your head a little bit. But then as I was reading the script, I remember reading it at first, and it was kind of funny because I read the script, and my wife was sitting next to me when I finished it, and she goes, I had this look on my face, and she said, what was it? And I gave her the script, and she read it, and at the end of it, she said, you need to play. Wow. Well, my producer told me to wrap it up, but that's you, man. I can't wait till that happens. I can't wait till that. But, man, you're welcome back on my show. Anytime, my friend. Anytime. I can't wait to see that movie come out. And again, I'm definitely coming out to the premiere of it, and we're going to sit down and do interviews with your cast and everything for my show. Hey, Nick, thanks a lot, my friend. Thank you.
God bless you, man. And you have great things going to happen to you, man. So hey, I'm talking to everybody here. Hey, look out for Flex. If you're coming to a theater near you one of these days, it's going to be a good movie. And I want everybody to keep following their dreams, just like Nick did. Don't give up on your dreams. Keep pursuing that, and it may come. It may happen. With that saying, I want to say keep styling and profiling. Always keep it classy. And Denzel, I'm sorry for bumping you, man. I had to have Nick on the show, but next time, Denzel, I'm going to have you on my show, man. We'll be talking, okay? So my people call your people Denzel. I love you, man. You'll be on my show next time, okay? So for that, I'm out of here. This is Lyle Van Harris saying, keep it classy.